Okay, I'll give you an injury update here as we get started. So Von will practice today. His 21-day window will start today, and we'll just take it one day at a time. Vet rest day is for Leonard Floyd, Matt Milano, and Micah Hyde. Greg Rousseau will not practice. He's out with a foot for this practice. And then limited will be Christian Benford and Jordan Poyer.
Benford, shoulder, I'm assuming it was,
right.
And he was able to finish though. So is that a good sign? Do we think?
Yeah, I mean, usually it is. You just take it one day at a time.
Something that happened in the game.
In the game.
Is Jordan better, same?
We think better. Again, we're just going to take it one day at a time and get a better feel for him today here as we go outside.
Without getting into when Vaughn might be ready to play, because that's your call, but what does his return to the lineup, whenever he does return, what does that just do for the defense, just his presence alone?
He's going to come in and do his job, just like he's done since he's gotten here. Certainly a really good player, and but at the same time, it's just what he's coming back from. At the end of the day, I know that he's intent on playing just good team football, but it's a welcome addition to the group, and having him back. I mean, it's been a journey for him, and I don't think I've ever seen a guy with such a positive mindset, mental toughness, just really, goal-oriented on getting back and getting healthy again and getting out there on the field.
From a physical standpoint, Sean, is it difficult for a guy like that to come back with just one or two practices?
We'll see. That's we just got to see. Take it one day at a time.
One day at a time. But how excited was he today, or is he?
Yeah. He's excited every day he's around here, right? So he's, as you guys know, a positive guy and brings a lot to our building, not just on the field but off the field, and in terms of his mindset and how he goes about his business.
Can you just speak on the contrast of emotions with Tre'Davious White going down and now another player who's worked his way to come back, making his way back, maybe a boost at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, two separate situations, obviously. It's a tough game, right, at the end of the day, so I don't know how else to say it, but it's a tough game, and these guys do a heck of a job. I mean, they're out there every day, every week, putting their bodies on the line, and I think sometimes that's taken for granted, what these guys put themselves through the grind of a season as well, not just to get themselves ready for the season, but through the grind of a season now going into week 5. But yeah, welcome addition, Von is for sure, and anxious to see him out there.
One more question, sorry. One more question on Von. Hearing him talk about this and go through this process, at least from a media perspective, right? He's been so anxious and eager to get back in, but at the same time has given you and Brandon credit for, making the decision to have him start the year on PUP or whatever, because he realizes that the idea is to have him healthy and contributing when the games really matter most late in the year and potentially into the postseason. How has it been for you, dealing with him? And I would think his experience and his maturity kind of is significant in that process as he goes through.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pro. He's mature. So as much as we know he wanted to play, we just felt like for the greater good of him and the team, it was just the ticks in the pro column versus the con column at the time were such that we felt like it was in the best interest of everyone for him to continue to get himself ready, and coming out of that stretch 3-1. Although that was hard, I can tell you as a coach, I want him out there week 1. But the way he handled that, the way he handles everything, quite honestly, is he's very poised, very composed, and he's just got a champion's mindset.
What have you seen from Dane Jackson since week 1 when Christian Benford got the starting job? What have you seen Dane? You know, how's he been locked into practice?
Yeah. I mean, great example. And I was asked this the other day. Great example of controlling the things you can control, and taking all your concerns and putting them in another bucket and letting those go, but focusing on what you can control, what's right in front of you. And I'm sure, he'd probably tell you, he was disappointed, and but outside of a very few, just a couple minutes maybe that I was around him and I could just tell. But that's the competitor in him, where you're down a little bit. But he's been nothing but exceptional in his mindset as well, and his willing to contribute in any role to the team, and he's just done a phenomenal job. And when he's gotten out there, he's been ready to go.
You haven't done this London trip before. What went into the decision to go over when you are? How did you arrive at that call?
Yeah, I mean, I'm relying heavily on our sports science department and Joe Collins and his staff, and our training staff, and they've done a ton of research. Joe's actually from there, so done a ton of research over the years, and now it's ramped up, obviously, this off season, and making sure we're going about it the right way here.
Seems like, for better or worse, you're trying to treat this as much like a road game. I know it's technically a home game for you, but as much as like a road game as possible. Is that accurate?
Well, it is. I mean, we're all going on the road.
I guess that there's some hoopla that comes with going to play in London. It's kind of special.
Sure.
It's not something that you do every year, as opposed to playing a normal road game, I guess.
Right. No, listen, we try and normalize things as much as we can. We go to training camp, and there's not a lot of teams that still go away to training camp, and I think that's beneficial in a lot of ways. One of the ways is, things aren't exactly, you're not exactly sleeping in your own bed for, however many days, and your bathrooms are small, and you're sharing bathrooms in some cases, and I think that just helps build some resiliency, and I think that's good in this situation where we're going to be away a little bit of time, and but it also offers an opportunity for us to come together again as a team and spend some time together, and then we've got obviously a challenge in front of us in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Do you feel like the home team?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of.
You're technically the home
right now I'm practicing on a Wednesday practice, John. That's what I'm focused on.
They seem to be more comfortable playing in London, having been there before. Is I guess what I'm saying. And what disadvantages might there be for them to have been there for the first time, like this?
Yeah, no, I think they've practiced. I think they've played, a number of times in the stadium that we're going to play. I don't know, but in the films that I've watched, it seems like there's multiple games of them in this same stadium. So I guess the advantage goes to them.
Sean, two things. You said Joe Collins, right? I just want to get the name right.
Joe Collins.
Thank you very much.
Right.
You've always rotated D linemen, and this group particularly, they've been good. Run pass, you've been good numbers, production. Now you add Vaughn to the mix. Does that help as well? That you don't have to necessarily rush Vaughn or anybody else to put on the field 70% of the snaps, because everybody's doing their part, because this is the philosophy you have anyway.
Yeah, it is. Eric Washington and Marcus West, our D-line coaches, both do a really good job of rotating players, fresh bodies. That's just philosophically what we believe in.
Sean, you thought people would be interested in the sports science aspect of this.
Yeah.
I just want to go back to it for one. Typically when you go over there, you fly through the night. People in general, whether it's vacation or business, and you got to stay up through that first day, and then get your body clock set. I'm interested in, is that the approach, and are you trying to carry that through Saturday to manage that whatever potential lag situation?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you're talking to a homebody here, so I've never been there, like I said the other day. But from what I hear and the research that is being used as our vision is we're gonna try and do that. We're gonna fly obviously tomorrow night, and then once we get there, try and stay up through the day and try and get acclimated to a little bit of it as much as you can. I should probably have Joe Collins and sitting next to me here to answer some of these questions. But I'll do the best that I can in what's been explained to me and why. And I think the cool piece of it is, there's been a number of people working behind the scenes on this since we got word that this was going to happen, and it's a great opportunity.
You've touched on it before, but how do you feel like Kaiir has handled what's been thrown at him early this season, and then his readiness to be in the good spot if he's called upon?
Yeah, he's done a good job. Just really, Kaiir is just a second-year player, and Dane is a little bit, beyond that in terms of his number of years in the league and what he's experienced and witnessed firsthand. So probably a little bit more of a new situation for Kaiir as far as that goes, of not playing. And I think he's done a good job, and now, potentially he could be called upon to play, and he's got to be ready.
Do you anticipate,
Sorry, go ahead.
do you anticipate rotating there at all, or do you want to have it just the two set guys?
We'll just see. We'll see how practice is today and then go.
Coaching standpoint, when you go into a stadium that you've never been in, what do you look for, landmarks wise, on play clock, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we try and scout out just directional, flow of the wind, not to get too specific, but, where the play clocks are located, because that's obviously important as it relates to the signal callers, and just overall playing surface, just to name a few.
Sean, is Russo's foot injury a concern at this point, and then might that impact Von's having to activate Von possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's pretty sore today, so we'll just see how he comes back tomorrow.